Oh boy, more lies in Ubisoft and Thomas Lockley and Assassin's Creed Shadows. We just can't get away from this game. I can't wait for it to come out, take a dump, and then we can all forget it even exists. Kind of like Skull and Bones. Let's cue up the music and we'll get right to it. Japanese government exposes another lie of Assassin's Creed Shadows collaborator Thomas Lockley. Let's see, there's old Thomas Lockley right there. He collaborated with Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed Shadows for an episode of the company's Echoes of History podcast titled Yasuke, the First African Samurai Podcast. Was he the first, the last, and the only? When he was the never. That's what he was. He wasn't a samurai. The description of the episode states Yasuke is one of the most captivating and yet mysterious figures within Japanese history. In 1581, at the height of the Civil War, he crossed paths with the country's most powerful warlord, Oda Nobunaga. Their meeting bound the two men together and set Yasuke on a path to becoming the first known samurai of African descent in Japan. Bullshit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll choke on that a little bit. Delving into the history behind one of the two main characters in the latest Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Matt Lewis and Thomas Lockley examined a few surviving historical sources to reveal what we know about Yasuke, Japan's first African samurai. It adds, the description concludes with making it clear it's produced by Ubisoft. Echoes of History is an Ubisoft podcast brought to you by History Hit. Podcast host Matt Lewis also introduces the episode saying, in case you haven't had the chance to see it yet, the world premiere trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows was released and you can see it takes place in feudal Japan. This is a time famous for its samurai and ninjas, an era rich in history, culture, and stories. For the next few episodes in the series, we'll be exploring this fascinating period in history. So far, we've traveled back in time to the Sengoku period, sowed the seeds for the unification of Japan, and culture collider with the arrival of Portuguese missionaries on Japanese shores. He continued, today we're tracing the story of a key figure in this era of upheaval, Japan's first black samurai Yasuke. How in any way, shape, or form was he a key figure of anything? I mean, look, first off, he wasn't a samurai. You know, nothing ever states that he was a samurai. This is all Thomas Lockley making things up. And then we try to raise his importance by saying he is a key figure. How is he a key figure? Because he was the only dude there? I mean, the only black dude in Japan? Big freaking deal. You know, he didn't start a revolution. He didn't invent the wheel. He didn't do anything amazing. He was there. He was Nobunaga's retainer and maybe entertainer. Maybe he was a thing that was talked about, you know, with the other samurai or other people in Japan, a novelty. I don't know. You know, I'm not trying to crap on Yasuke, but yeah, I guess I am a little bit because it's absolutely stupid how overblown he's become. But as one of the main two characters in Assassin's Creed, you'll get to see the world of feudal Japan through the eyes of the legendary African samurai. But how and when did Yasuke end up in Japan? What was his journey to becoming Japan's first black samurai? And what can his story tell us about life in Sengoku, Japan? To find out more about this notorious and yet mysterious figure from Japanese history, I'm joined by Thomas Lockley, Associate Professor of Nihon University in Tokyo and author of African Samurai, the True Story of Yasuke. Anyway, clearly Ubisoft brought in Lockley due to his work on African Samurai, the story of Yasuke. However, as initially reported by Tebow at Minimal Effort Podcast, the Gunma Prefecture noted that Lockley misinterpreted the word Kuroho during a television special titled Black Samurai Yasuke, the African Samurai who served Nobunaga. God, man, this guy needs to work on his titles. They're really aggravating. In the archives of the Gunma Prefecture's website, a question is asked, I've heard that an ancient document in the Gunma Prefectural archives contains a description of a Kurohu, black man. Is that true? And is translated by DeepL, the government entity responded, in the Kirima family document, number 1, letter of Kiyomasa Kato, year unknown, the word Kurohu appears in a description related to Hideyoshi Toyotomi's invasion of Korea in Black Samurai Yasuke, the African samurai who served Nobunaga, broadcast on NHK BS4K on March 30th, 2021. Thomas Lockley, Associate Professor of Nihon University, stated that The Kuroho mentioned in this document may have been the successor of Yasuke, a black samurai who served Oda Nobunaga. The document is a Kuroho document. They added, first of all, we at the archives did not recognize this Kuroho as a black person at all, and we are surprised by Mr. Lockley's suggestion. In fact, whether or not this Kuroho was Yasuke, there has been a view that he was presented, or that he was presumed to be black. At this point, however, it is difficult to make a definite determination since the blacks appear in only one place in this document. For example, the word Kuroho also appears in The Tale of Genji, which means Kuroho needed incense, and seems to occur frequently in Japanese classics. In addition, some of our staff members have suggested that it would be more natural to see it as a description of an object rather than a person when reading our documents. Based on the above, it is the opinion of the archive staff of the museum that it is difficult to immediately conclude that Kuroho is a black person at this time, it concluded. You can feel Lockley reaching for the straws here with this kind of stuff. This appears to be one of the many lies Lockley has told. One of his biggest he's told that he had nothing to do with Assassin's Creed Shadows. He posted that on Facebook before he shut it down. Thank you for your support over the years. Due to hate mail connected with the Assassin's Creed game, with which I have nothing to do and had no intention of playing, but many people seem to think I'm responsible for, I will be freezing this account. I hope not forever, but who knows. I don't like that he had to do that, but you kind of reap what you sow. And in this day and age on the internet, if you're putting out BS and someone calls you on your BS, you're gonna get hammered for it. Now, hate and threats and all that of course is not something you want to do to people like Lockley or anyone else who's pushing this kind of garbage. You do want to push back, and you want to push back against what they're saying and how they're saying it. If they're perpetuating lies and falsehoods and all that, call them out on it. Tell them what the truth is. Let people know that you're not just going to sit there and buy what they're selling at the price they're asking because they say it's worth buying. That's not the case. Look at Assassin's Creed Shadows, $140 I think it is for the super duper deluxe edition. I mean, absolutely ridiculous for what's probably going to be Metacritic score in the low 70s, I would say, which is good. That's not bad, but it's not it's not going to be the next greatest thing. And even then it might drop lower just because of hate bombing or review bombing, but we'll have to see. Anyway, clearly Lockley did not indeed collaborate with Assassin's Creed Shadows given his appearance on the podcast promoting the game, or he did indeed collaborate, promoting the game and justifying Yasuke being the game's protagonist. Nevertheless, he doubled down on this line in an interview with Lance E. Lee podcast from Tokyo on YouTube. Lockley stated, I don't know whether the game Assassin's Creed should have him as the main character or should have somebody else as the main character. Quite frankly, I don't care. Lee then asks him, but you had nothing to do with it anyway, and Lockley replies, nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, I don't believe this guy at all. First off, he's a liar. His whole premise behind Yasuke being this samurai and the first black samurai and this great warrior and this key historical figure and all these other ways he promotes this thing, that's his bread and butter. He made money off of this. He made big bank off of this. So I get it. You want to support it. You want to save it. You want to keep it out there as long as you can and milk it for every dollar you can. But really, dude, you're living a lie. And why would I believe you on anything else if your whole empire, the foundation of your empire, is built on that lie? That's absolutely horrifying. Anyways, Lee then asked, you see no royalties or anything? And Lockley responded, no, it was nothing to, though my book is starting to sell well again, which is nice. That's nice. But then he added, but don't attack Yasuke as a man. Let's remember this man for who he was and the great things that he did. Interesting, Lance E. Lee has removed the video from YouTube in the wake of that Park Place covering it. Wow. They must have got a lot of people going there and crapping all over the comment section, I can imagine. Should have just turned off the comments and left the video up, but the video is probably so damning that he had to pull it down. They don't want it out there. But yeah, look at this. He's actually protecting a man that's dead for hundreds of years now. Don't attack him as a man. I mean, you put him out there, bro, he's going to get attacked. Anytime you put something out on the internet, everybody comes back at it. But what do you make of this Japanese government entity exposing another lie of Thomas Lockley's? It's like watching a house of cards come crumbling down little by little. We've only got a couple more months until this game comes out. I'll keep you guys up to date on the latest of it, and if there's any changes in the release schedule or anything like that. I mean, just imagine if the backlash is so bad that they delay the game and actually do some fiddling around and change that main character. That would be absolutely hilarious. And that would be a huge, huge win. Will it happen? Nah, I doubt it. I wouldn't put my hopes on it. Anyway, leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I will see you all next time. As always, Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. Until then, peace.